Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and welcome to today's video. So I hope you're having a good day so far. It is of course February the 14th, which means Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's to all you guys and girls out there watching this video. If you've got a special someone in your life, hope you're having a good day with them. If you don't, hey, it's not the end of the world. We'll be single together. I'm in the same boat. It is what it is. World moves on. Yada, 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 yada. Think of all the money you're saving as a singleton and not having to go through the time and effort of preparing whatever it is these lovebirds are doing these days. Right, so the gameplay you're about to watch, or watching, as it's already started, is a TDM, well, it's a Team Rumble, I call it a TDM because it's just like a TDM, LTM mode in Fortnite Battle Royale, and the footage is of course from a previous Twitch stream that I did. This was a couple of months ago now, sometime around Christmas I think, can't remember the exact day, but around Christmas time. I actually set a new PB for myself in this match, so I got the highest number of kills I've ever got in a TDM, and, I won't spoil it, but I may or may not have gone flawless. So at the start, I landed, I looted, I cut all that bit out because it's just boring, and so I just cut straight to the action part, where I start getting Elims, and the circle actually sort of finished at tilted, which is actually, I think, a really good spot for it to end. Not only because in playgrounds, whenever we play, we always land at tilted, so I kind of know it kind of well. And I think it's just a nice place to fight because there's a lot of buildings, a lot of verticality, but there's also a lot of cover as well. So it's really good to just run around chasing each other. It's like a proper TDM map, I suppose. I don't like it so much when it's in the open or on top of a mountain because all you do is you spawn, you land on the hill, you fight, you might die, respawn, blah, blah, blah. It just gets boring. Whereas in a built-up area like Tilted, there's actually like fights going on. You can hide, you can run away, you can attack, that sort of thing. So I think it's a really good place for it to end. It's a shame that the circle doesn't finish more often in built-up areas. Like, I'd rather it finish in places like Pleasant, Salty, that sort of thing, rather than just in the open in the middle of nowhere. That's just my thoughts on it anyway. Right, so this video is actually something that I was planning to record quite a while ago. A couple of months back, I finally made affiliate on Twitch, and it was a nice little milestone because I've been trying so hard. I put in quite a lot of hours and I feel like I probably could have done it a little bit earlier, but of course I took my trip to the US, which broke things up a little bit, and so I just sort of fell off that a little bit. But I came back, started again, and then I finally managed to hit affiliate. And I made a little video just thanking people that helped me along the way, and it's sort of something that I was working on for pretty much most of 2018, like on and off. I was streaming more and more hours, trying to do more and more days, but my schedule was pretty bad. Still is to some extent. It's not great. I'm streaming a lot more hours, but I'm just so inconsistent on the days, and well, not so much the days, but the times that I'm streaming. I can stream like quite late through to early morning, sometimes just randomly. It's just, yeah, so it's not great. I need to work on that. I'm still working on that. But anyway, so over the course of the past year of streaming, I've learned quite a lot about Twitch. Like, I got into Twitch just because it's something I wanted to try and I thought it looked fun to do, and I've had a bit of fun doing it. I've learned a lot while doing it, and it's all, I don't know, I think I said it in the previous video that it's very much like when I first started posting videos to YouTube. I saw people doing it, I wanted to try it, and therefore I did it, but you don't realize how much goes into it until you start doing it for yourself. So you probably think, oh, they fire up a game, they play a few matches, they talk to a few people, job done. Well, yeah, I guess if you want to really simplify it, that's pretty much what it comes down to. But there's all sorts of stuff that you don't really think about until you actually start doing it for yourself. So things like stream titles, stream tags, you need to create channel art for your Twitch channel. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it just makes it look better. It looks a bit more professional. And I did all of my channel art by myself, just like I did all of my YouTube art by myself. And I had to learn all of this stuff. I downloaded Photoshop for the first time to create channel art, thumbnails, stuff like that. I'd never done this before. So I had a bit of experience, obviously, from doing YouTube thumbnails and stuff to help me create some stuff for my Twitch channel. And I've made things that I didn't think I'd ever need to make. I mean, thumbnails are pretty standard now for me to do. Like, I'm not an expert at using Photoshop by any stretch of the imagination, but it's interesting because having to make different things means that you have to learn different things. Now, the channel art itself wasn't that bad. Creating the panels was kind of fun. Took a bit of time because of the scaling and stuff like that, but that was alright. But then when I finally became affiliate and I had the option to create like sub badges and Twitch emotes as well, oh my word, when you have to make something so small, it's really hard. Like, I took a long time for me to A, think of a concept, and then B, try to get it to work. And there were so many designs that I wanted to do, but they just wouldn't work because the icons were so small that when you actually made it, it just didn't look right, it didn't make sense, or it didn't stand out clear enough. And the whole point is you want it to be easy to see and stand out when obviously you type it in the chat. So it was just another level that I had to sort of get around. And once I had a few ideas and I was really happy with them, it took a bit of time to just then work it into a small size. But thankfully, I finally got there. I've got a couple couple of Twitch emotes that I'm really happy with. I do have a few more that I'd like to put into play, but unfortunately as an affiliate you can only have up to a maximum of 3 Twitch emotes, and only one of them really per stage of subscription tiers. So really most people only use the one, but fortunately I get access to all 3 of my Twitch emotes because I am the channel owner. Well, I don't know what the word is, but anyway, so I get to use them in other people's chats, but unfortunately people in my chat only get to use the one that they subscribe for, unless they go for a higher tier, which I'm not expecting them to. I just created it because I wanted to create the emotes. The sub badges took a really long time. Like I had a concept again that I wanted to do, but it didn't look right, because it was so small and condensed, and so I had to keep reworking it, and then of course the longer you're subscribed to a channel for, the colors generally change, and that's what most people do for their channel. And I really love that concept. I had a few different color palettes that I wanted to play around with, and the first few colors didn't really work. So I was watching other streamers and just seeing what their sub badges were like, and again I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but implementing it was a whole nother thing. I eventually managed to put something together, and I'm really happy with my sub badges. And unfortunately I can only do a certain number of stages because again I'm only Twitch affiliate, but if I'm still streaming in a couple of years time and people are still subscribing and my channel's still growing, then that'll be just amazing, and I look forward to creating new sub badges for that time. But well, we have to get to that stage first, so wait and see. So yeah, altogether it took me, I'd say, about a week roughly. Not every day like bashing it, but like a few hours a day, a couple of late nights, just working on ideas, concepts, and then just trying to get them to work in a small size. But I was really happy with what I did. Happy with the end product, and it's such a nice feeling when you see someone obviously in chat with your sub badge, knowing that you've created it yourself, and when they're using the emotes as well. And I know I've only got one at the moment, but I can use all 3 of mine in other people's chat streams, and it's just a nice feeling. It really is. And I know some people prefer to pay a professional to get theirs done for them, and that's great. If you can afford it, then go for it. But the fact that I've made it myself as well, and I'm quite I don't want to say arty, but I'm quite a creative person sometimes, and I get that from my family, and it's just a really nice feeling, really content feeling, knowing that you've made it and people are using it. And in a similar sort of vein as well, because I'm still new to streaming, I'm still very much learning the ropes. I'm using third-party websites like Stream Elements and Nightbot and stuff like that, and that's a whole other thing that I need to master as well. Like, I'm nowhere near competent in using those yet. I'm still adding stuff to my stream pretty much on a weekly basis, and because I don't get a lot of views and a lot of chatters, I'm still learning stuff on the fly. Like, I don't know what I need to tweak until I know I need to tweak it, and I don't know I need to tweak it until I come across it. That sort of situation doesn't arise unless there are people there to watch and to play around and to do whatever in my stream and in my chat. So I'm still very much in the learning phase, very much a small streamer, very much a beginner, but it's just interesting. I really don't know if this is going to go anywhere or if I'm going to use any of this stuff going forward into like a future career or something, but it's just interesting, in the same way that YouTube was interesting when I first started doing it. Like, when you watch videos and you don't realize what goes into it, you sort of don't appreciate it as much, I would say. But when you watch a video that's been really well edited, you really appreciate it because you know how much work has gone into that video. And I think you only really appreciate that if you know how much work has gone into that video. You can see it, but you don't know about it until you've tried to do it yourself. And that's the same thing I think with Twitch. And if people ever start a conversation about Twitch in the future with me, I can talk a little bit more about it and a bit more confidently because I've been through the steps that these big streamers have, well, okay, not the big streamers, but I've gone through the basics of what, you know, these streamers do on a daily basis. So I can just, you know, sort of talk about it. I sort of know what it is that they're talking about as well if it ever comes up. And then of course, when you're streaming, you need to use streaming software. So I use OBS, which is free. And it's something I've never used before. I've never had to use it before, and so suddenly I'm having to set up my PS4 to work with OBS. And then when you use things like OBS, it's nice to have things like overlays. Overlays are the things that you can see on the screen right now. So you can see my kill counter, you can see my social media links, you can see my recent activity, so donations, cheerers, that stuff I've never had to set up before. So I had to link those to the files which record the information, and then I had to set it up so that it displays in a way that I want it to display. This is all stuff I've never had to do, and it all took a bit of time to put together. But now that I know about it and a bit more confident about it, if I wanted to, I could do something a bit more fancy in the future, obviously if it ever gets to that point. But again, it's just something else that you don't really appreciate until you try and do it. You see streamers have it all the time, and you just think it's easy, you just click a button, it's done. But, well, I mean, they might pay someone to make the art for them, but I've had to create everything I've created myself on my channel. On all my channels, I create all the artwork. None of it is paid for, none of it is copied from anyone else. I did it all from scratch for myself in Photoshop, and it's just a really nice feeling. And to see it in action and to see it on screen, and to see that well, I think it looks, I'm biased obviously, I think it looks good, but it's just a really nice content feeling. Okay, so this gameplay is more or less coming to an end pretty soon, so I'm going to have to wrap up this video now. I'll just end on one other aspect of Twitch streaming, which I never really thought about until, again, I started streaming myself, and that is the socializing, the networking side of things. If you think of Twitch as being a business, it's just like any other business in the real world. You have to network, you have to socialize with other people. That's how you get your name out there, that's how you make friends, that's how you make partnerships. And if I hadn't watched other people streaming, I wouldn't have learned half the stuff that I learned. I mean, I met a bunch of other small streamers. We just played a few matches together, you know, we shared knowledge, we shared experiences. And again, it's something I never thought that I would ever need to sort of appreciate. But I really have done, having done all of this now, and it's just weird. But I've learned a lot from it, and shout out to people like Snow. It's still very much an aspect that I'm working on because my hours of streaming are so random. I find it difficult to play with other streamers on a regular basis. And then of course, because I don't have a massive following, I mean, I don't mind hosting and raiding, but it doesn't really do anything because I don't have that many viewers, so there's kind of no point doing it. But I hope that, you know, as my channel grows, if it grows, then that's something I can be more active in doing. But again, it's still a learning curve that I'm adjusting to. So yeah, even though I've streamed for pretty much over a year now, I'm still very much in the learning phase, the beginner phase, and it's not until my channel starts to grow and move forward, and that's when I start to learn new things. Right, so that'll do it for today's video. If you did enjoy the content, do consider tapping the like button, I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you've got any thoughts, like to share me regarding anything I've talked about today or anything you've seen in the gameplay, do let me know in the comment section below. I am planning to post another video tomorrow, and of course I've got one planned for Saturday as well. So again, potentially another 4 videos in a row, which is kind of cool. I'm working towards that. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, and I will see you later.